New York City, 1987. Muhammad Ali gave $50 to a homeless man begging on a street corner. The man tried to give him something in return, a crumpled piece of paper. Ali almost threw it away. But 15 years later, when Ali opened that paper, what he discovered would shock the entire world. This homeless man wasn't who Ali thought he was. And what was written on that paper would change everything Ali believed about giving and receiving. This isn't just about money. It's about hidden identities, secret acts of kindness, and how the people we overlook might be the ones teaching us the greatest lessons. But this homeless man was hiding something. November 12, 1987. Muhammad Ali walked through the chaos of late-night Manhattan. Neon signs flashing, taxis honking, tourists everywhere. He'd just finished a speaking engagement at a nearby hotel. His driver had the night off, so Ali decided to walk back to his hotel, clear his head, think. He was 45 years old now. The Parkinson's symptoms were getting worse. His hands trembled constantly. His speech was slowing. But his mind was sharp, and his heart was still that same kid from Louisville who couldn't stand to see people suffer. That's when he saw him, an elderly man sitting against a building wall, cardboard sign propped next to him. Veteran, hungry, please help. The man wore layers of tattered clothing despite the cold November night. His face was hidden beneath a dirty baseball cap and an overgrown gray beard. But something about him caught Ali's attention. Maybe it was the way he sat, not slumped in defeat, but upright, with a certain dignity despite his circumstances. Most people walked past without looking. Some dropped coins without stopping. Nobody made eye contact. Ali stopped. "Brother," Ali said, his voice already showing the effects of Parkinson's. "You need some help?" The man looked up, and Ali saw his eyes for the first time. They were sharp, intelligent, and deeply sad. Recognition flashed across the man's face. "Mr. Ali?" the homeless man said, his voice rough but educated. "Is that really you?" "It's me." Ali reached for his wallet and pulled out a $50 bill. "Here, get yourself something to eat. Find a warm place to sleep tonight." The man stared at the money like it was a lifeline. His hand trembled as he reached for it. Thank you so much." But he paused. "I have something for you too. Brother, you don't owe me anything. Please," the man insisted, reaching into his coat. He pulled out a crumpled yellowed piece of paper, folded multiple times. "Take this, it's important." Ali hesitated. The paper looked ancient, like it had been carried for years. "What is it?" "Just keep it, please. One day you'll understand." Something in the man's eyes, a strange mix of desperation and knowing, made Ali take the paper. "What's your name?" Ali asked. "Thomas," the man said. "Just Thomas." Ali put the paper in his pocket without looking at it. "You take care of yourself, Thomas? You too, champ. You too." As Ali walked away, he glanced back. Thomas was crying, staring at the $50 bill like it was a miracle. Ali never knew that this encounter would haunt him for 15 years. What Ali didn't know was that Thomas had been waiting for him. For 15 years, that piece of paper sat in Ali's home office, stuck in a drawer with old receipts, business cards, and forgotten notes. Ali moved on with his life. The Parkinson's progressed. He became more involved in humanitarian work. He traveled the world as a goodwill ambassador. He forgot about the homeless man named Thomas and the mysterious paper. But Thomas never forgot. In 2002, Muhammad Ali was going through old files, cleaning out his home office in Scottsdale, Arizona. Lonnie, his wife, was helping him sort through decades of memorabilia. "What's this?" Lonnie held up a yellowed, crumpled paper. Ali looked at it, confused. The paper was so old it was falling apart. "I don't know." "Throw it away." "Wait, there's writing on it." Lonnie carefully unfolded the fragile paper. "It's addressed to you." "What?" Lonnie began reading aloud, and as she did, Ali's face went pale. The paper read, "Dear Muhammad Ali, if you're reading this, I'm probably dead. My name isn't just Thomas. It's Dr. Thomas Edward Morrison, former professor of philosophy at Columbia University. I lost everything 15 years ago, my career, my family, my home, because I made a terrible mistake. I spoke out against racism in academia, and it cost me my tenure, my reputation, and eventually my mental health. I ended up on the streets. The night you gave me $50 was the night I had decided to end my life. I had a bottle of pills in my pocket. Enough to make sure I never woke up. I was waiting until midnight to take them, but then you stopped. You, Muhammad Ali, the man I'd watched fight for justice his entire life, stopped to see me. Not as a homeless man, not as a problem to step over, but as a human being. That $50 wasn't just money. It was proof that someone in this world still saw my humanity. I didn't take those pills. Instead, I used your $50 to get cleaned up and start over. It took years, but I rebuilt my life. I'm writing this now as a thank you, but also as a lesson. Inside this letter, I've enclosed something. Don't throw it away. It's the most valuable thing I own, and I want you to have it. You saved my life, Mr. Ali. And I spent the rest of my life trying to pass that gift forward. With eternal gratitude, Dr. Thomas Edward Morrison. Lonnie stopped reading. Her hands were shaking. "Muhammad, there's something else in here." She carefully unfolded another piece of paper that had been inside the letter. It was a deed, a property deed. What the deed revealed would change everything. The property deed was for a building in Harlem, New York, 247 West 138th Street, worth an estimated $1.2 million, and it was signed over to Muhammad Ali. "This can't be real," Ali said, his trembling hands holding the deed. "It looks real," Lonnie said, "but how did a homeless man own a building worth over $1 million? They spent the next week investigating. What they discovered was extraordinary. Dr. Thomas Edward Morrison had indeed been a philosophy professor at Columbia University. In 1985, he'd published a groundbreaking paper arguing that universities were perpetuating systemic racism through their hiring and tenure practices. He had evidence. He had testimonies. He had truth. Columbia fired him, claiming conduct unbecoming of a professor. Other universities blacklisted him. He couldn't find work. His wife left him. He lost his home. By 1987, he was living on the streets, but Thomas had inherited a building in Harlem from his grandmother years earlier. It was the last thing he owned. He'd been trying to sell it to survive, but the market had crashed. Nobody wanted to buy a rundown building in what was then considered a dangerous neighborhood. The night he met Ali, Thomas was planning to overdose and let the building go to the city. Instead, he survived. He used Ali's $50 to get to a shelter. At the shelter, he met a social worker who helped him get back on his feet. Slowly, painfully, he rebuilt his life. By 1990, Thomas had gotten sober, found part-time work as a community organizer, and moved into a tiny apartment. But he never forgot Ali's kindness. He held on to that building, paying the taxes somehow, waiting. In his will, written in 1995, he left the building to Muhammad Ali. Thomas Morrison died in 2001 from cancer. He was 68 years old. He'd spent his final years volunteering at homeless shelters, helping people just like him get back on their feet. But here's the part that shocked Ali most. Thomas had left detailed instructions with his attorney about the building. The attorney's phone call revealed Thomas's real plan. 3 days after finding the letter, Ali's phone rang. It was Douglas Chen, an attorney in New York. "Mr. Ali, I've been trying to reach you for years. I represent the estate of Dr. Thomas Morrison. He left explicit instructions to find you when the time was right." "The building," Ali said. "I found the deed." "Yes, but there's more, much more." Chen explained that Thomas had turned the Harlem building into a transitional housing facility for homeless veterans and people recovering from addiction. He'd been running it for over 10 years, using donations and grants. Over 400 people had passed through, getting back on their feet. "Thomas used your $50 as the seed money for the whole operation," Chen said. "He matched it, then raised more. He told every resident the story of how Muhammad Ali stopped to see him when nobody else would. Your kindness became the foundation's philosophy. But why give me the building? Because Thomas wanted you to continue his work. The building is fully operational, self-sustaining through grants and donations, but he wanted you to be its guardian. To make sure it never closes. To make sure people like him always have a place to rebuild their lives." Chen paused. "There's one more thing. Thomas left a video message. He made it before he died. He asked me to show it to you when you found the letter." 2 days later, Ali sat in his living room watching a grainy video of Dr. Thomas Morrison. He looked healthy, clean-shaven, wearing a simple sweater. Nothing like the homeless man Ali had met 15 years earlier. "Hello, Mr. Ali," Thomas began, his voice strong and clear. "If you're watching this, I've passed on. Don't be sad. I had 14 good years after you saved my life. 14 years I wouldn't have had if you'd walked past me like everyone else. I want to tell you what happened after that night. Your $50 bought me a shower, a shave, and a meal. But more importantly, it bought me dignity. It bought me the belief that I was still worth saving. I used that belief to rebuild my life. I went to shelters. I got sober. I volunteered. And eventually, I turned my grandmother's building into a place where people like me could find hope. We've helped 427 people so far. Veterans, addicts, people who lost everything. We give them a bed, food, counseling, job training. We treat them like human beings. We show them the same kindness you showed me. And Mr. Ali, here's what I need you to understand. You didn't just save one life that night. You saved 427 lives. Every person who came through our doors, they're alive because you stopped to see a homeless man on a street corner. I'm leaving you this building not as repayment, but as responsibility. Keep this place open. Keep saving people. Keep showing the world that everyone deserves a second chance." Thomas leaned closer to the camera, his eyes intense. "And one more thing. Inside the building's basement, there's a locked room. The key is with Mr. Chen. Go there. See what I've been working on for 14 years. See the real gift I'm leaving you." The video ended. What was in that basement room would leave Ali speechless. 1 week later, Muhammad Ali flew to New York. Laila came with him. So did Lonnie. They met Douglas Chen at 247 West 138th Street. The building was modest but well-maintained. A sign above the door read, "Morrison House, where second chances begin." Inside, they met the current director, a woman named Patricia Williams who had herself been a resident 5 years earlier. "Morrison saved my life," Patricia said, tears in her eyes. "I was addicted to crack, living in an abandoned car. He found me, brought me here, never gave up on me. Now I run this place. We've helped 47 more people since he died. They walked through the building. Clean rooms, each with a bed and small desk. A communal kitchen. A library. A job training center. Photos on the walls of former residents. Smiling, employed, thriving. This is beautiful, Ali said, his voice slow but full of emotion. The basement is this way, Chen said, holding up an old brass key. They descended narrow stairs into a dimly lit basement. Chen unlocked a heavy door. Inside was a workshop. Tables covered with photo albums, scrapbooks, and filing cabinets. The walls were covered with photographs, newspaper clippings, and handwritten notes. At the center of the room was a large book on a podium. The cover read, "The $50 Legacy: How One Act of Kindness Saved 474 Lives." Patricia opened the book carefully. Inside were entries for every single person who had come through Morrison House. Each entry had, run, a photo, their story of how they ended up homeless, how Morrison House helped them, where they are now, how they're paying it forward, page after page, life after life, 474 individual human stories. But it wasn't just Morrison House residents. Thomas had tracked down other people Ali had helped over the years. People Ali didn't even remember. A waiter Ali had tipped generously, who used it to pay for his daughter's medicine. A cab driver Ali had encouraged, who went back to school. A janitor Ali had talked to, who quit drinking. Thomas had found them all, documented their stories, showed how Ali's small acts of kindness had rippled through countless lives. He spent 14 years creating this, Patricia said softly. He called it his life's work, proving that kindness multiplies, that saving one person saves everyone they touch. At the back of the book was a final entry, Thomas's own story, with a photo of him from 1987, bearded, homeless, broken, and a photo from 2001, healthy, purposeful, alive. His entry ended with, "Muhammad Ali gave me $50 and 5 minutes of his time. I gave him 474 reasons to keep being kind. We're even." Ali stood there, tears streaming down his face, unable to speak. His trembling hands touched the book gently. "Dad," Layla whispered, "you did this. All of this." But the most shocking discovery was still to come. Patricia led them to another section of the basement. An entire wall covered with envelopes, hundreds of them, all addressed to Muhammad Ali. "What are these?" Lonnie asked. "Letters," Patricia said. Dr. Morrison asked every person who came through here to write a letter to Muhammad Ali, to thank him, to tell him their story. He collected them for 14 years, hoping to give them to you someday. Patricia handed Ali the first envelope. He opened it with trembling hands. "Dear Mr. Ali, my name is Marcus Johnson. I'm a former resident of Morrison House. Dr. Morrison told me that you saved his life, and that he built this place because of your kindness. I want you to know that you saved my life too, even though we've never met. I was a veteran, homeless for 8 years, ready to give up. Morrison House gave me hope. I'm a teacher now. I work with at-risk kids. I tell them your story. Thank you for seeing Dr. Morrison when nobody else would. You saved 475 people that night. I'm number 312. Marcus." Ali read letter after letter, each one a life transformed, each one a thank you, each one proof that one moment of kindness had echoed through 15 years and touched hundreds of lives. There was one final envelope, larger than the others. Patricia handed it to Ali. "Dr. Morrison left this for you personally. He wrote it a week before he died." Ali opened it. Inside was a long letter in Thomas's handwriting. "Dear Muhammad, by now you've seen what your $50 became. 474 lives saved, hundreds more touched indirectly, families reunited, addictions conquered, hope restored. But I need to tell you the real secret. You didn't save me with $50. You saved me by stopping, by seeing me, by treating me like a human being when the world had decided I was invisible. The money helped, but the moment you made eye contact, spoke to me with respect, acknowledged my existence, that's what saved my life. That's what I built this place on. Not money, dignity. Every person who comes through these doors, we do the same thing. We see them. We acknowledge their humanity. We give them dignity before we give them anything else. That's your real legacy, not the $50. The stopping, the seeing, the caring. I spent 14 years trying to figure out how to pay you back. Then I realized I can't. What you gave me is priceless. So instead, I passed it forward. I made sure 474 other people received what you gave me. Dignity, hope, and a second chance. Now I'm passing that responsibility to you. Keep this place open. Keep seeing people. Keep reminding the world that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity. Thank you for my 14 extra years. I used every single day. Your friend Dr. Thomas Edward Morrison. P.S. Check envelope 475. You'll want to see that one. Ali's hands shook as he opened envelope 475. Inside was a photo. Recent. From 2001. It showed Dr. Thomas Morrison standing in front of Morrison House. But he wasn't alone. Gathered around him were dozens of former residents. All of them smiling. All of them alive. All of them holding a sign together that read, "Thank you, Muhammad Ali. You saved us all." And in Thomas's hand was the original $50 bill. Framed. He'd never spent it. He'd kept it as a reminder of the day his life changed. Today, Morrison House is still operating. After Ali's death in 2016, the Muhammad Ali Center took over its management. They've expanded it to include job training, mental health services, and family reunification programs. The building Ali inherited has helped over 1,200 people rebuild their lives. Every resident still hears the story of Dr. Thomas Morrison and the $50 that started everything. But Morrison House sparked something bigger. Inspired by Thomas's model, similar facilities have opened in 15 other cities. The dignity-first approach, treating homeless individuals with respect before offering services, has become a standard in modern homeless outreach. All because Muhammad Ali stopped on a street corner in 1987 and saw a human being instead of a homeless person. The framed $50 bill hangs in Morrison House's lobby. Beneath it, a plaque reads, "This $50 saved 474 lives and counting. Never underestimate the power of one kind act." And next to it, a quote from Dr. Thomas Morrison. "Muhammad Ali didn't give me money. He gave me my humanity back, and I spent the rest of my life giving it to others." Here's what people don't understand about helping someone. You never know who they really are. You never know what they're capable of. You never know how your kindness will multiply. Muhammad Ali saw a homeless man and gave him 50. What he actually gave was a second chance to a brilliant philosophy professor who would go on to save 474 lives. That homeless man wasn't just homeless. He was a scholar, a thinker, a future humanitarian. He just needed someone to remind him. And that's the real lesson. Everyone has value. Everyone has potential. Everyone deserves dignity. The people we walk past, ignore, or dismiss, they might be waiting for one person to see them, to acknowledge them, to remind them they matter. Thomas Morrison was ready to die that night. One 5-minute conversation with Muhammad Ali gave him 14 more years and a purpose that outlived him. How many people walk past someone who could change the world if only someone stopped to see them? Muhammad Ali once said, "Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth." On November 12, 1987, Ali paid that rent with $50 and 5 minutes of his time. What he received in return was proof that kindness is the most powerful force in the world. Dr. Thomas Morrison took that kindness and multiplied it 474 times. And those 474 people are paying it forward every day. If this story moved you, think about the homeless person you passed this week, the stranger who asked for help, the person society has decided is invisible. What if they're waiting for their Muhammad Ali moment? What if you're supposed to be that person? Subscribe for more inspiring true stories. Share this video with someone who needs to remember that everyone deserves dignity. Drop a comment. Have you ever helped someone and later discovered it meant more than you knew? Peace.